can be heard on newly released recordings that were reportedly taped 3 years ago. In them, you hear what sounds like Mayor Reed in a profanity-laced rant. The recordings were released online on a web page called Montgomery Deserves Better. Here's part of those recordings.
Yo, what up, y'all? It's your boy Rob coming back at you once again with another video. So before we get started, you already know what to do. If you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure you hit the bell icon twice. Smash the like button, share this video out to all of your followers, and let's get it cracking. All right. So what we have today is a video about the mayor, Stephen Reed, all right, in Montgomery, Alabama. And Stephen Reed is another example of why the world is correct. Now, people ask, well, why do you say that the world is correct? Because when you continuously move goofy, when you continuously move against your own interests, and when you continually put antagonistic politicians in a position of power and then continuously ask the question why nothing is being done to further our interests, look back at every action that was taken, the result of those actions, and the future results and why they aren't happening. If you put politicians in office that have no interest in you, no interest in your future, and no desire to see any improvement, they're not going to seek any improvement. What they're going to do is they're going to work for the highest bidder. And in most cases, the people that put these people into office are never the highest financial bidder. And that's for other reasons that we also talk about on this channel. But Stephen Reed is no different from any Democratic mayor, all right, especially Democratic mayors in black areas. All right, he talks a good game in front of the camera, but then when the cameras turn off and nobody thinks that anybody's listening, watching, or recording, he's letting the truth come out. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a listen to that truth that came out, and we're going to assess it and we're going to analyze it. And at the end of watching all of this, we're going to ask the question, how did this guy get in office? And the people that put this person in office, is the world correct for them? All right. So what we have right here is a video of released recordings of Mayor Stephen Reed, and we're going to listen to it right now.
Montgomery Mayor Stephen Reed can be heard on newly released recordings that were reportedly taped 3 years ago. In them, you hear what sounds like Mayor Reed in a profanity-laced rant. The recordings were released online on a web page called Montgomery Deserves Better. Here's part of those recordings.
Don't ask, I can come smile. I don't have to do no work. Okay? I don't have to do no work systemically, and I'm going to be fine. And guess what? I will always get 38 to 45% of the white vote. If I get 30 to 45% of the white vote, I don't have to get the black vote I got this past election.
Why is he so concerned about not getting the black vote? It amazes me. There are black people that voted for him, but he doesn't care. He doesn't care. The only thing that this guy cares about is the percentage of white vote that he gets. Why would that be? As a matter of fact, when it comes to most people, the only thing that they care about is the recognition, admiration, or validation that they get from quote unquote white people or non-black people in general. My question is why? Why is that? Because that goes on all over the place. It goes on in education. It goes on in the news. It goes on in expert citation. Why is that? That's the question. This is a politician that's supposed to be working for his constituents. Now, mind you, he does have white constituents, and they need to be looked out for too. They voted for him. They're in his jurisdiction. They are entitled to whatever it is that he may do for them as well. But why the particular disdain for the black ones? That's the question. That is the question. That's the question that I'm asking him. And that's the question that I'm asking each of you. And that's the question that I'm asking the news medias. And a matter of fact, speaking of the news media, I got this audio here off of a local news channel. I'm curious as to why the Democrat mainstream media hasn't been covering this. You guys can answer that question in the comment section as well.
You got black city, that's great. You can have all black everything. And guess what? You won't have green nothing. Yeah, white money. Things that you are looking after, they will take the crack bill, they will take the pipe road.
So what it sounds like he's saying is that when it comes to white people, if you're not looking out for their interests, they'll go elsewhere. They'll shop elsewhere. Here's my question. Is that something specific to white people? If it's not something specific to white people, my question is, when you're sitting here listening to a politician talk to you like that, why are you not doing that as well? So I'm going to ask this question because a lot of people say, you know, if you get an education, you're acting white. They say that if you talk properly, you're acting white. They say that if you're not interested in degeneracy, you're acting white. Okay. Well, in this example, acting white is punishing somebody who doesn't look out for your interest. Maybe that has something to do with that. What do you guys think? Because that's clearly what he said. So anybody that wants to get upset with me because of the way that I phrased this or the way that I put this together in the video, don't get upset with me. Get upset with your boy right here. According to him, what he just said, the white people with money will take their money elsewhere. I guess the way that he's looking at black people is that him being in office is a symbol, and that's the only thing that they require is seeing a black person in office because they don't have any money to take anywhere. Not having any money to take anywhere is another separate issue that we also talk about on this channel, attempting to close the racial wealth gap. But that's neither here nor there, because if they gave you the vote is another form of political currency. So why does he have so much disdain? And also, why is it that punishing a candidate who doesn't look out for your interest, in the words of Stephen Reed, is quote unquote acting white? I'm going to put it on here again so that you guys can hear it.
Everything. And guess what? You won't have green nothing. Yeah, white money. Things that you are looking after, they will take the crack bill, they will take the pipe road.
So what he fears is the white money drying up. Let me ask you guys a question. Is that wrong? So now here's my question. Why doesn't he have a fear of the black vote or the black money drying up? Human behavior is inescapable. Another reason why the world is correct.
And you won't have.
It is important to note these recordings were released in the same year that Mayor Reed is up for re-election and just months ahead of that election.
Let me ask you guys a question. Do you all think that Stephen Reed will get re-elected? I think that he will. I think that he will. As a matter of fact, I think that he'll get re-elected with a more overwhelming margin than he was elected last time. If you guys agree, give me a thumbs up. If you guys disagree, give me a thumbs down. If I have any subscribers or any people that watch this video that happen to be from Alabama, let me know what the climate is surrounding Stephen Reed and what you all think about whether he will get elected again or not.
We reached out to the mayor's office for reaction and were told that city offices are closed for the holiday. When the mayor does respond, we'll share that with you. You can listen to more of the recordings that were released again on that website inside this story on the WSFA 12 News mobile app. Coming up tonight at 6, WSFA 12 News is talking with someone who was in the room when the mayor made those comments and corroborates what was said.
So now next, what we have is an article from Alabama.com. All right. And what this article says is Montgomery activist leaked audio shows Stephen Reed didn't support the black community. Now, let me ask you guys a question. Do you all feel that he didn't support the black community? If you all feel that he didn't support the black community, give me a thumbs up and let me know why. If you feel that he did, then give me a thumbs down and let me know how he did. All right. So now this is an activist saying this. Montgomery activist says leaked audio show Mayor Stephen Reed didn't support the black community. All right. A Montgomery community activist said Monday he did not tape or leak recordings of comments made by Montgomery Mayor Stephen Reed on Sunday. The audio included remarks in which the mayor peppered candid observations on the black vote, economic development, and apathy towards Maxwell Gunther Air Force Base with profanity. Charles Lee, in an hour-long Facebook Live from Monday night, prayed for Reed and said that he would not do any interviews other than with WSFA because it was a local news source. I'm going back to my community and serve my community, he said. I'm going to turn my phone off. So I think what we'll do is we'll also look at this WFSA article. All right, we're going to look at this and see exactly what this individual said. Okay. So now here it says, Lee, the owner of the youth nonprofit That's My Child, told the station he was in the room when Reed made comments to a group of community activists following the death of George Floyd. The discussions dealt with keeping peace in the city during the summer's protests. In speaking to the station, Lee said he did not record the audio and did not say who was responsible. Lee seemed to imply more audio would be released, but that everyone involved in the meeting made a pact to not release it until they all agreed. You keep fighting us, Lee said. You keep fighting the people that's been trying to help you so long. That's it. People are going to hear all the stuff on the tape. And I'm sure it's going to all come out someday or whatever. But at the end of the day, I know I'm going to be on the right side of it, fighting for the community where I've always done. And when people hear the rest of it, they're going to see that I've always been fighting for this community. When the tapes do come out, everybody in that room, except our first black mayor, was fighting for the black community, Lee said. It's unfortunate we have to fight with our first black mayor to help the black community. Actually, it seems like a regular thing here in the United States. Any one of these United States first designated blacks is always one of the most anti-black people that they can put into a position. They may as well get a black conservative. When tapes do come out, everyone in that room, except our first black mayor, was fighting for the black community, Lee said. It's unfortunate we have to fight with our first black mayor to help the black community. Now, here's my question. Nobody saw any warning signs? In a statement issued Monday night, Reed said the audio features carefully selected sound bites of my voice and was surreptitiously recorded 3 years ago. Reed claimed the recording was part of an extortion attempt against him. He is expected to address the controversy at a press conference early this morning. And I believe that this press conference has already taken place. The meeting with this community member was prompted by our concerns about civil unrest in the immediate aftermath of the death of George Floyd. During this meeting, it became abundantly clear to me that this individual sought personal financial gain during a time of crisis in our city, state, and country. You have my word that no one in my administration will ever give in to a shakedown or extortion, Reed continued. In his Facebook comments, Lee said he knew Reed's comments were being recorded when the meeting took place and knew that they would eventually be leaked. However, he said he did not leak them. Why would I want to destroy the black mayor? I fought hard to get you there, he said. I'm 100% for you. He did not blame Reed for using profanity. We men get emotional. Everyone in the room, including me, have curse words because you're passionate about your community, he said. Lee said the mayor had provided funding to white-led nonprofits and not black-led groups as the city homicide rates rose. So here we are again in another Democratic city with another black mayor with homicide rates on the rise, with crime being a major issue. So all somebody has to do if they're running against this guy, Stephen Reed, is run on a platform of getting rid of crime, and that individual may win. You know what I'm saying? So there's that. He don't care about no black votes. Here's my question for everybody in the comment section. Does any Democrat or any Republican care about black votes? Does the mainstream media care about black votes? As long as he gets that white vote, he's straight, and that's why kids dying, Lee said. This is not personal, sir. I do not know you. We have never met before those conversations. In fact, I've been protecting. I'm the reason this tape hadn't been leaked. Lee said he was escorted from a recent community meeting with Reed because he was identified as a security threat. But he said he has no personal feelings against Reed. He only wants someone to combat violence around the city. So again, this is a community activist complaining about violence. I don't wish you no harm, Lee said, as though speaking to Reed. There's people all around you in every department that you run in because of the way you do them. They leaking all kinds of stuff, and these boys are trying to take you to jail. I don't want no black man going to jail. So I don't know. There might be some more stuff coming out about this guy, Stephen Reed, and sounds like if it's some stuff that could land him in jail, it might be some pretty bad stuff. In 2021, Lee staged a Facebook Live showing himself covered in what looked like blood, calling for help after being shot. He later explained that it was a call for help, a way to get prospective mentors' attention, according to Alabama News Network. Okay, so this is interesting. And here's my thing, right? Even if Stephen Reed is being extorted, let's just say that those allegations of extortion are real. What does that have to do with the comments that he made? That doesn't take away from the fact that he made those comments. You know what I'm saying? Like, those comments are still just as real. You know what I mean? So even if you are being extorted, okay, let's just take that into consideration and say, okay, this person is trying to extort you. And I have heard rumors that there was a little bit of extortion or something going on for some type of nonprofit. But regardless, even if that did happen, what motivated you or what prompted you to make those kind of comments about your own constituency? Why would you do that? That right there is straight out of the Democrat playbook. All right. So now here's an article from the Montgomery Advisor, and it says 5 things to know about Mayor Stephen Reed's audio recordings. Okay. 3 heavily edited 2020 audio recordings of Montgomery Mayor Stephen Reed making profanity-laced points about race relations, as well as his opinion on Maxwell Gunter Air Force Base, surfaced Monday. Here are 5 takeaways from the recordings and the immediate aftermath of the release. Reed appears to deny needing the black vote. Now, let me ask you guys something. Is that Stephen Reed on his own, or is that something from the Democrat playbook? Does that go all the way back to Daniel Patrick Moynihan with the benign neglect memorandum? Stephen Reed saying that he doesn't need the black vote is about the same as all of the Democrats acting on benign neglect. So my question is, now that the Democrats are actively verbalizing that they don't care about your vote, they don't need your vote. Here's my question. Did Lori Lightfoot act like she needed the black vote? Is Mayor Eric Adams acting like he needs the black vote? Are any Democrats out there acting as if they need your vote, or are all Democrats acting in accordance with the statements that were made by Stephen Reed? Now, if you answer yes to that question, my question for you is, why do they keep getting in office? Why do they keep getting 80 to 90% of the vote each time? Why is that? If the Democrats continue to get 80 to 90% of the black vote, and you have Democrats openly saying stuff like this, my question is the world correct? Because who in their right mind with common sense, with a triple-digit IQ, would continue to put politicians in office who use this as a policy? We don't need the black vote. If you continue to do that and you are not getting serviced the way that you need to, don't ask any question other than, is the world correct? And if you answer that question yes, then you've answered it correctly. There has to be accountability for the idiocy and stupidity that occurs. You know what I'm saying? So now here it says in an edited clip, Reed said, I don't blank have to do no blank work. I don't have to do no work systemically, and I'm going to be fine. I don't have to do no work systemically. That means that he's not going to work on any black disparities. He's already saying this. He's using the Joe Biden playbook. He's using the Mayor Eric Adams playbook. Okay. But remember who put him in office. And guess what? I will always get 38 to 45% of the white vote. If I can get 35 to 45% of the white vote, I don't have to get the damn black vote. And I got past this election and I'll win. So there's that. In another part of the conversation, Reed said he has to take care of white donors who will take their money to Pike Road or Prattville if he does not protect their interests. So again, shout out to the All Money Ain't Good Money series, because like Dr. Claude Anderson said, you got to buy politicians. Just like some ladies that tell you, if you come and holler at them, baby, you got to pay to play. How many times have I been saying this? You know what I'm saying? Money talks, BS walks. So when this guy is not servicing his white constituents that have money, guess what? They're looking at him like, this is BS. We're going to walk. So again, what this shows is that when it comes to the financial component, as long as we have a racial wealth gap, there will always be a race component, especially if white people always have a significantly higher amount of money than black people, which is one of the reasons why black people need to start working on lucrative, high earning and sustainable businesses in order to conquer politics. You know what I'm saying? But what this also shows is that politicians fear consequences. He fears the wrath of the white money evaporating, which is one of the reasons why he's talking so boldly, because he knows, you know, a white person may say something about this, but I mean, he's not talking about white people. So, I mean, how much is it really going to matter? How often do you find a highly ethical white person that just really, really cares about something that somebody says negatively about black people? Not very often. And I mean, the thing is that if you're black and you're listening to something negative that somebody may say about another group of people when they're leaving black people alone, I mean, how much do you really care? You know what I'm saying? So the thing is that the key point here is that it's the consequence. It's when you take your belt off and threaten to whip somebody that they're actually going to do what they're told. And he's literally saying that in this conversation, in the leaks tape. I'm going to do what these white people tell me to do because they're going to take the gas out of the gas tank if I don't. And then I'm just going to stall out. Why it takes people so long to understand that, why these church people are fainting and fanning their hats all over the place and in church praying and holding hands and waiting for some deliverance and all this stuff to come. You literally have the recipe right here. Pull your money and the heartbeat goes flatline. It's not that difficult. You know what I'm saying? But the thing is that I can sit here and say that it's not that difficult as much as I want to, but the evidence shows that for many people, this is an extremely complicated and difficult subject. If you look at all of the political failures that we have. So here's my question to everybody. What are we going to do to first be able to get money and then be able to use pulling that money as a consequence? Now, let me ask you guys a question. No tangibles, no vote. Sounds good, but when you have a black politician saying, guess what? I don't need your vote because I got 35 to 45% of the white vote and that's going to carry me over. How effective will a no tangibles, no vote strategy be when it comes to a situation like this? Let me know in the comment section. Reed seems to voice a lack of support for Maxwell Gunter Air Force Base. I'm not going to have one single blank conversation with the governor or lieutenant governor about Maxwell Gunter Air Force Base. I don't know nobody who works in Maxwell Gunter except for the people I have to meet as mayor. I don't know anybody else there. So if that blank is so important to y'all, then y'all better do some blank that's important to me, Reed said in one edited audio segment. So basically, I mean, that right there is politics. If you think this is important, you need to scratch my back and then I'll scratch your back. Reed says he must look to coast and bypass local investors. Every time I'm on blank TV, I get someone from New York and LA and they call me about how can they invest in blank Montgomery. You think the blank around here gonna invest in Montgomery? You think I expect the descendants of the Confederate soldier investing in Montgomery beyond what's good for them? They'll do some little nice blank over at the Valiant Cross Academy where I'm on the board, but are they gonna invest in systemic change? Hell no, they're not gonna invest in it, Reed said in the audio recording. Now, people may get offended by this, and you know, I don't care about anybody's feelings. I don't care if you get offended or not. You know what I'm saying? What people should be offended by is their living conditions, not what I say on my YouTube channel. But now right here in this number 3, this is actually a world is correct moment. How many times have people been criticized about not investing right at home? And I mean, this is what he's saying. And basically what's going on is he's voicing frustration with what's going on around him. Can you blame him? So now what I find interesting is although he may have said some anti-black things that you might not want to, be caught saying, the media is not focusing on the stuff that he's saying that is semi-correct. I mean, he's right. Do you really expect the descendants of the Confederate soldiers to invest in Montgomery for empowerment? Is that really an expectation? It's not an expectation that I have. It's not an expectation that any sane person should have. You know what I'm saying? But the problem that he's saying is that people from the outside who are only interested in investing their money and making a return, like people from New York and LA, the rich, wealthy, liberal people are investing money. The people right there at home that have the money are not investing. So what is he supposed to do? That's my question for everybody in the comment section. All those people that live in Alabama that refuse to reinvest in Alabama, is he supposed to just not accept the money from the people in New York and LA? Or is he supposed to beg and plead and cry and wait for people who are in their own living conditions to actually have some couth about themselves and want to build up a competitive network there? Is he supposed to wait for that? Or is he supposed to take the money? That's what I need to know. Because right here, this part in number 3, this is an accountability moment. And there's so few times when people take accountability for their own failure. And that's one of the things that's really irritating, because when people don't take accountability for their own failure, you will see continued failing. So now let's talk about continued failing. When it comes to politics, when it comes to black areas and quote unquote Democrat areas, are the politics succeeding or are they failing? The frustrations voiced right here in item number 3 show a frustration that a lot of people, not just Democrat politicians, voice when it comes to these kind of areas. So now I want to know from the people who are watching this video, people from Alabama, what do you all think about this? This particular portion right here, number 3. Is he wrong? If he's wrong, give me a thumbs up. If he's right, give me a thumbs up. If he's wrong, give me a thumbs down. Reed said he must look to coast and bypass local investors. And now here's the thing, right? You got to pay attention to how the Montgomery Advisor titled this, because that's not what he said. He didn't say that. What he said is that local investors bypass him, and that people from the coasts are more interested in investing in the city than people right in the city. So pay very close attention, because one of the things that the mainstream media is doing is taking this and saying that the entire rant was not in support of the black community. The entire rant may have some anti-black elements, but the meat of the rant basically exposes the community down there in Alabama and what they're not doing to reinvest in building the community back up, like line item number 3 shows. All right. So now here it says, every time I'm on blank TV, I get someone from New York and LA and they call me about how can they invest in blank Montgomery. You think the exploitive around here gonna invest in Montgomery? You think I expect the descendants of Confederate soldiers investing in Montgomery? So right here, he criticized black people and white people, because I'm sure right here he said the N-word, and right here he's talking about white people, descendants of Confederate soldiers. That's white people. You know what I'm saying? So he's criticizing both black and white people, and the mainstream media is taking it and running with it and said, oh, he's got all these criticisms for the black community. He criticized the white people too. You know what I'm saying? Beyond what's good for them, they'll do some little nice giving over at Valiant Cross Academy, where I'm on the board, but they are not really going to invest in systemic change. Hell no, they're not going to invest in it. And why would they invest in systemic change? Because the system, the way that it is what keeps them afloat, Reed said in the edited audio recording. So now here it's Charles Lee's Facebook video. Community activist Charles Lee went on Facebook Live at 5:00 p.m. Monday to describe the circumstances of the audio recording. Lee said that he was in the room when Reed made these statements, but said he was not responsible for making the recording or for leaking it to social media. Lee claimed the mayor cut off contact with him after he learned of the recording. He also alleged that the mayor later denied city funds for Lee's nonprofit, That's My Child. Extortion. Reed claimed that Lee threatened to release the video if the mayor did not give him funding for That's My Child. In a news conference on Tuesday, Reed accused Lee of extorting him and has said that he has contacted the district attorney about prosecuting Lee. The meeting with this community member was prompted by our concerns about civil unrest in the immediate aftermath of the death of George Floyd, Reed said in the statement on Monday. During this meeting, it became abundantly clear to me that this individual sought personal financial gain during a time of crisis in our city, state, and country. And here's my question. How many times have we saw that? Cough, Black Lives Matter. You have my word that no one in my administration will ever give in to a shakedown or extortion. Lee has denied the accusation. So now let me ask you guys a question. Do you all think that part of this is actually indeed the aftermath of a shakedown / extortion, a lot of times this is the kind of thing that does happen in the wake of a shakedown or an extortion. But regardless of the internal beef that's going on at the local level, you cannot ignore the spin that the white media is putting on it. And the reason why is because they will always take an opportunity to derail internal politics. Always. You know what I'm saying? So now here we have an article from WFSA 12. All right. And it says Montgomery's nonprofit founder denies audio tape extortion claim. All right. So this must be him. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a listen to this video, and then we're going to check out the article if the article isn't a direct transcript of the video.
Montgomery Mayor Stephen Reed addresses the weekend publication of profanity-laced audio clips.
The mayor says the clips were recorded 3 years ago and only released now as part of an extortion attempt.
He held a news conference to address the issue today. WSFA 12 News anchor Sally Pitts was there.
Mayor Reed claims the audio recordings are not only heavily edited, but also part of an attempt to extort him. Reed says Charles Lee, owner of That's My Child, is behind the release of the recordings. The mayor called Lee a hustler and liar. Reed says the clips were recorded nearly 3 years ago following the death of George Floyd. Reed said he wanted to deliver a speech to the community and invited community members to be a part of the conversation. Reed said during a meeting with Lee, it became apparent that Lee had an alternative motive.
Where is the $30,000 that purportedly was promised to him by a previous administration? And so you hear me frustrated, you hear me angry, and you hear a level of tension in my voice that most people probably won't hear because we aren't in that position. And at the time, looking back, and I thought about this almost immediately, I should have gotten up and left.
Reed said later Lee began trying to extort him, asking for money in exchange to destroy the audio. Lee denies ever asking Reed for money. Reed said he plans to file a complaint with the district attorney's office. Sally Pitts, WSFA 12 News.
Late today, Lee reiterated he never asked for money. He also told WSFA 12 News the audio clips were edited down from an hour-and-a-half conversation. Now, we did reach out to Montgomery County District Attorney Daryl Bailey for comment. He said some years ago he met with Mayor Reed's chief of staff and a local attorney regarding a complaint on Charles Lee. Bailey says after the meeting, he was informed by Mayor Reed's chief of staff that the mayor did not wish to pursue an investigation.
Now, we did ask Charles Lee to do a follow-up interview with us to discuss the mayor's news conference today. He said he would talk to us at tonight's city council meeting. While the issue did not come up during the meeting, Lee did talk briefly to our Brady Talbert when it was over. Brady is joining us live now from Montgomery City Hall with more on his response. Brady?
Mark, he says he was upset, and he says he feels like the mayor made things a little too personal, and now he's giving us his reaction.
I just want to let people know that I'm not a thug, I'm not a criminal, I'm not shiesty or all of those things that he said. I am a child of God.
Charles Lee feels disrespected by Mayor Reed. He says he was presented as a thug in the mayor's news conference.
I have never called him out his name. I would not even do that now because I will not disrespect our leader. I'm not going to do that. Even though you call me those things or whatever, that is not what God called me to do.
After that comment, Lee didn't stick around for any more questions. Avis Lewis also attended the council meeting. She says she was born and raised in Montgomery and has worked at Maxwell Air Force Base. She was offended by the mayor's comments in the audio recording about the base and wants him to resign.
But I want Mayor to know I love everybody, including him. But he didn't apologize. And he didn't say it.
Meanwhile, Councilman C.C. Calhoun says he believes the mayor's press conference helped clear the air.
The CEO of the city came out, set the record straight based on what's said. When you got a one-sided conversation, you got both sides of the story. When he had a rebuttal based on what's said, I think we need to continue to work together and move the city of Montgomery forward.
Now, Councilman Calhoun also questioned the motive of releasing that audio now when it was recorded 3 years ago. Mark?
All right, Brady, thank you so much. You can go back and listen to the audio recordings and watch the mayor's full news conference in the response at our website or our news app.
Messy. All right. Let me ask you guys a question. Why is it so messy? So now here it says Montgomery Mayor Stephen Reed says the profanity-laced audio clips released Monday were not only heavily altered, but in attempts to extort him. Reed took to the podium Tuesday to explain what really happened and led to the release of the tapes. Being here today is not because of a doctored or manipulated audio clip. Being here today is because of an extortion attempt on the mayor of this city by a man by the name of Charles Lee, Reed said. Reed explained that Charles Lee, the owner and founder of That's My Dog and That's My Child, had not only recorded the audio, but used it to extort him. Lee has since reacted to the mayor's accusations, telling WSFA 12 News he never asked for any money. As for the mayor's claim that the audio was doctored and manipulated, Lee said that the recordings were edited down from a conversation that lasted for an hour and a half. Okay. His extortion attempt during the George Floyd aftermath was one of the most despicable and disgusting acts of cowardice I have ever heard or been a part of, Reed said. Reed explained that the clips were recorded nearly 3 years ago following Floyd's death. The mayor said he wanted to deliver a speech to the community away from City Hall in the wake of Floyd's death and invited community members to be a part of the conversation. According to Reed, during a meeting with Lee, it became apparent that he had an alternative motive. Reed said Lee was an angry person who came to the meeting out of interest of personal gain. Reed said during the meeting, Lee began asking for $30,000 and that he was supposedly promised from a previous administration. Later on, Reed said Lee began trying to extort him, asking him for money in exchange to destroy the audio. Charles Lee is a liar. He is a shyster and he is a hustler. Let me be absolutely clear about that, Reed said. Reed said he has no issue testifying and plans to seek legal action against Lee, noting that meetings had been held with the district attorney's office in the aftermath of the incident, though he said the matter was later dropped. The discussion was corroborated by Montgomery County District Attorney Darrell Bailey, who said, "Some years ago, I met with Mayor Reed's chief of staff and a local attorney at their request. The subject of the meeting was a complaint on Charles Lee. After the meeting, I was informed by Mayor Reed's chief of staff that the mayor did not wish to pursue an investigation into the matters alleged. That was the extent of my involvement." All right. So now what they have here is just a little piece out of the clip. The recordings were uploaded to several social sites, including Facebook and YouTube, by a group calling itself Montgomery Deserves Better. Reed's statements prior to the news conference indicated he was speaking with a member of the Montgomery community, not a group of people. The mayor did not release the name of the person he was speaking to at the time, but during his news conference pointed his allegations to Lee. Lee said he was in the room when Reed made the statements, but noted a group of community activists whom he declined to name were meeting with the mayor following the death of George Floyd to discuss keeping peace in the city. When asked why the 3-year-old audio was not released until now, Lee said everyone involved in the meeting made a pact not to release it until they gave the green light to make it public. It's unclear what prompted each to reach an agreement on greenlighting the publication. Lee initially told WFSA 12 News he did not record the audio and declined to say who did, though he seemed to imply more audio from the meeting would be released. He later explained that he and another person, along with the mayor and the mayor's security, were present for the meeting. "You keep fighting us," Lee said of the mayor. "You keep fighting the people that's been trying to help you. So long, that's it. People going to hear all of the stuff on the tape, and I'm sure it's going to come out someday or whatever. But at the end of the day, I know I'm going to be on the right side of it, fighting for the community where I've always done. And when people hear the rest of it, they're going to see that I've always been fighting for this community." At this point, neither Lee nor anyone else has released a full unedited version of the mayor's secretly recorded discussion. WFSA 12 News has made requests to Lee to hear them in their entirety. Mayor Reed also urged the full release of the audio clips by Lee or whoever he sold the audio to. Since Lee has taken to social media to address the community, saying in part that the mayor has stated numerous times that he's willing to testify under oath as to the conversation or conversations he had that are now in question, and urged the community to hold him to that promise. At the time, Lee said the entire audio and video of the conversation in question will be released so everyone can judge for themselves my character and his. All right. So now this just goes on to to show the audio clips. And if I'm not mistaken, they have like three audio clips, and I think those are the ones that we showed in the beginning. All right, so what I will do is I will link this article here for anyone who wants to dive into this further. And if anybody sees any follow-up on this particular topic, make sure that you link it. You can leave it in the comment section on this video, tag me on Facebook, Twitter, IG, whatever, shoot it to me, Patreon, whatever, and we will definitely follow up, because I'm interested to see how this individual, Stephen Reed, does when it comes to re-election. But I'm also interested in the full context, because some of the stuff that he was saying, it's not cool for you to say that kind of stuff. But hey, people can get mad if they want to. Some of the stuff that he was saying, especially about the money from New York and LA and people not being willing to reinvest in their own locality, that was spot on. You know what I'm saying? That was spot on. And people just need to take accountability for the lack of interest in their own destiny and, in their own protection. And it is what it is. Do better. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure you hit the bell icon twice, smash the like button, share this video out to all of your followers. Make sure you watch the video all the way through to the end and hit the links at the end of the videos. Subscribe to my backups. Check out my videos as they come up on your homepage, and I will catch you all on the next one. All right?